A little bit, a little bit. I don't know how to sing Mambo number 5. What up, guys? Welcome to Dark Harvest Rambling Series, Part 11. 11. Little recap. So, a little recap is in order. So, last time, channel had not been uploaded on in a while, and then Chris uploaded a video pretty much detailing that he's still safe, trying to give a message out to Heather. Heather then made a response video titled Update Number 8, and pretty much explained the timeline of events of what has happened since the last time we saw her. Just the last time we also saw Chris and Alex, realistically, too. But yeah. So, now, we move on to log entry number 34. Let's just jump into it. So, log entry number 34 was uploaded on January 1st, 2020. The last time we had gotten an upload on the channel was April 21st, 2018. So, yeah. It had taken about almost 2 years to get to this point on the channel. Now, we have a proper upload for the first time in like 2 years, which is insane. Yeah. Let us go through it now. Video starts. Someone is walking out of a hotel. They walk up to a car, and we see in the reflection of the car that it is Heather. Heather's back. She has a camera. She's ready to make video. Heather gets into her car, says it's been a while, and then just kind of jumps into what we're here for. She then says that about a year ago, she got a call from Chris. She missed the call, but he did end up leaving a voicemail, and she says it's only fair if she shares it with us. So Chris's voicemail pretty much explains that, one, he was hoping Heather would have picked up, because it would have been nice to hear her voice. Two, he has scrounged up some money and he's going to be heading back towards her area. Number three, don't try and come looking for him. It would be too dangerous. He said he'll get there himself and he'll find her pretty much. And he hopes to see her. He hopes he scrounged up some money for a bus ticket, and he hopes that can take him the way. He said it'll probably. He said it's not going to just be one bus. It'll have to be two, and hopefully it shouldn't take too long. All that stuff. Heather got this voicemail about a year and a half ago. I said a year ago earlier, but a year and a half ago. Oh, also one thing that we can notice is that Heather still has the bag of Daniel Shipman's belongings that Chris and Alex found in Massachusetts. That's just another thing to note. We can see that along with a bunch of other things like a sleeping bag and just all kinds of stuff that Heather has in her car. Heather then says, and ever since that voicemail, she hasn't heard from him. She kept up hope for a while, but now at this point, she then just started to assume that he was dead again, right? And she also said, he told me not to look for him. I wouldn't even know where to start. So, yeah, that's pretty understandable. She also says it's hard to live off hope. That's true. Heather says she hadn't heard from him in a while until today. Chris called her today and said that he wanted to meet up. But Heather says it feels sus, it feels weird. because why would he want to put him? He wanted to keep this distance from them, right? And now he suddenly wants to meet up out in the open. Meet up, says all of this on a phone call, right? It does feel weird. It feels suspicious. Feels really suspicious. Fucking weird as shit. So yeah. No, I'm with Heather here when saying that. That is weird as fuck. I smell an order. I smell the order afoot. You know what I mean? The order's behind this meeting. Nah, that's what I smell. I smell suspicious behavior. Heather then says that she's gonna go for it though, because this could be her last chance to see Chris. So she's gonna take this chance. She says that she's going to release the documents that she found in the previous video, right? The ones in Daniel Shipman's bag. She's gonna release Daniel Shipman's documents. And she also said that if she doesn't respond, if she doesn't come back in the next few days, it's safe to assume that she's dead. So, yeah. With the order breathing down your back, I think that's pretty fair. I will link those documents down in the description of this video. Daniel's documents. I will link the Google Drive that has the documents in the description. These documents are pretty, pertinent information. At one point, it says that the Oracle got into contact with Daniel Shipman through the Kind von der Ritter channel. It's almost like... Now, these are order documents. These are fucking order documents, right? Documents from the cult themselves. That part of the documents almost feels like it's confirming that theory that Daniel Shipman had, and the theory that I had even earlier in the timeline before Daniel Shipman had it. That the Oracle himself, Marc McComber, is Kind von der Ritter. That feels like it's almost confirming it. Because who would know better who Kind von der Ritter would be than the people that worked with him for a very long time? The cult itself, you know? I don't know. It's not confirmed, but that feels almost like confirmation enough. I will leave those documents in the description below. Go read them. There's not a lot of them. A couple of pages, 8 to 9, I think. Maybe less. But yeah, they're not long pages either, but yeah, I would fucking read them, dude, because there's some good info on those fucking documents, in my opinion. So yeah. Now we move on to the next video, log entry number 35. So, the video starts. Heather walks out of her car, starts smoking a little cigarette, right? Pass the time, wait for Chris. And then we see Chris walk up behind her. Kind of slink out from the distance in this park. It's him, dude. It's the guy. The fella's back. It's Chris, dude. He's here. And it's so good, man. It's so good to see him. Even if is some sus shit going on, it is just so nice to see Chris. Because it's been a while. The last time we saw Chris, he was bloodied and battered, not looking too good. So, Chris and Heather hug. They talk for a second, and then they both get into Heather's car. We can't hear what they were talking about because the audio from that part was muted. But Chris is back with Heather. So, in the car, Chris immediately already seems kind of sussed out. He's like, Heather starts talking about how, car's cluttered. Chris is like, with a hand sign, tells her to shush. And then he goes, do you have anything to drink, right? Doing one of these motions, right? Do you have anything to drink? But what he's really asking for is, you got anything to write on? Heather's like, yeah, right? So, Heather grabs Chris something to drink. He's got a bottle of water, right? But she grabs Chris a little notebook and a writing utensil. Chris writes down, "This is a trap. They have me mic'd and a tracker in my ankle." This is a trap. They have me mic'd and a tracker in my ankle. Fuck. So already from the start, we're learning there is some sus shit going on. There's some sus ass shit going on. Alright. Chris then writes the second thing. "I have a plan." But with his words, he's saying, alright, let's just get the fuck out of here. So Chris and Heather start heading out. Chris writes another note when they're on the road. Heather reads it real quick. And then Chris is like, "Hey, let's go get something to eat. I'm pretty hungry." Heather's like, "Yeah, no, that's chill. I think there's a CVS nearby that we could go to. So, we gotta go get some items at CVS." Probably not food, though. We could not see what Chris wrote down, but most likely not food, though. So in the CVS, we see Chris in, the medical supplies aisle, looking at, bandages and stuff like that. So, a plan's coming together here. We then cut back to the car. Chris writes another note, shows it to Heather. Heather's then like, "Ayo, I'm oh god." Heather's then like, "Ayo, I'm getting pretty tired. I think we should stop off for the night." Chris is like, "You think can we not go any further?" Heather's like, "Nah, I don't think so. It's starting to get to my head." Chris is like, "Yeah, that's fine." So they're gonna go stop off somewhere for the night. So Chris tries to convince Heather to keep driving a little bit longer. He's trying to convince her, right? Heather's like, "I think we should just stop off at a hotel." So they go to a hotel, right? This is all a part of Chris's plan. He's got a plan here, and so far I can tell his plan's going well. They go to their hotel room. And this is where that next step of the plan is going to come in. This is where those medical supplies is going to come in. So, they start to get settled into their hotel room, right? Lock the door, close the blinds, all that shit, right? Put their stuff down. They turn the TV on, and then Chris says, "I'm going to take off the mic pack. Keep the TV on." And then the next thing he writes in the notebook is, "I'm going to need help." Alright. A plan is coming together here, guys. So, Chris has a mic on his chest, and it leads all the way down to a wire that leads to the box of the recording on his leg. Chris needs to carefully string the mic through his clothes to get it out of his pant leg, pretty much, right? And he's gonna have to cut the tape on the box itself, and then carefully take the tape off of the mic, and then string it through his clothes. That's really the only way he's gonna be able to do this. Any other way would be really loud. He can't take his clothes off. That would be too loud. The order would know that there's shuffling going on. Even if they don't know, even if he wasn't trying to take it off, taking the clothes off would probably be enough shuffling that it would fucking wig the order dudes out, and they would come full force for him, you know what I mean? So, yeah, he's gonna have to take shit off. He's gonna have to take the mic off by stringing it through his clothes. Carefully. Very carefully. So, they successfully get the mic out, right? They get it off of him, gently place it down on the bed, And then Chris starts writing something in the notebook again. You're going to have to cut the tracker from my ankle. Oh my god, dude. It's a tracker embedded in his ankle. You're going to have to cut the tracker from my ankle. They have to do this while staying silent, dude. Staying silent. Because they have a mic in the room with them right now. They're going to do this real quick. Fucking hell. Alright. So, Heather pulls out those medical supplies that they got at CVS, right? She starts to apply what I'm guessing is some like kind of like numbing, some base numbing stuff on his ankle. And Chris is already, he's holding the camera, he's pointing it down at his ankle, he's like shaking. He's shaking already a little bit. I would be too. I'd be nervous having something being cut out of my fucking ankle. Hell no, dude. So, Heather cuts the tracker out of Chris's fucking leg, and while he's doing it, while she's doing it, Chris is holding the camera like it's shaking. He drops it at one point. We see that a full cut is made, and she keeps cutting a little bit more and starts picking the tracker out, right? Man, you may have good friends, but is your friend good enough to cut a tracker out of your leg? I don't know. I don't fucking know, dude. That's real friendship right there. God damn. That is real friendship right there. They dogs, dog. They homies, man. Just for this tracker scene, this is hands down one of the best videos in the series. Just based off of this tracker scene. Hands down one of the greatest videos in the whole series. So good. They get the tracker out of his leg. They pack up, quietly leave the hotel room. They are gone. They have left. We then also cut to some kind of like camera angle from inside the hotel room. Not sure if they set it up or what that is all about, but yeah. We cut to some kind of camera angle inside the hotel room. I don't think it's supposed to be an actual camera. I think it genuinely is just supposed to be like, just to show that the hotel room is now barren, right? No one's in there. But someone will be going in there to check it soon, right? That's at least what I think. They're on this shit, bro. They're doing shit. They're out of here. We then cut to Chris and Heather driving the fuck away from that hotel. Heather then says to Chris, we should probably dump the car. Chris is like, yeah. He's like, if they know what hotel we're in and they know how to contact me, they probably know where the car is, right? They probably know what the car is. Chris is like, yeah, with their ties to the police, they probably put out an APB for it, so, yeah. So they're gonna dump the car and get a new one. We then cut back to that camera angle in the hotel room I was talking about, and 3 order members come in. We see a little light shine in through the window, and then they come in, they look around, they see that the mic's there, the tracker's there. They angrily walk out of the room. Now there was 2 members with a white mask on, and then the other member had a different colored mask on. Now this camera angle is in black and white, or like gray tone, so we can't exactly see what the color of the other member's mask was, but we could probably guess it was red. Probably sent an executioner out there, right? But we don't know. So Chris and Heather get to a place and they talk about how it doesn't open up until like 7:30. Sun doesn't come up until 7:20. And we can see on the little clock in Heather's car that the time is 5:55. So they are They're in for a good little bit of a wait. Chris then sets up the camera, and Heather's like, "So you gonna tell me what's been going on these past couple of years?" Chris is like, "Yeah." So Chris starts. He says him and Alex were going out to the store to buy groceries, and they straight up just bagged them on the side of the road. Just black bagged them on a street corner. Threw Chris and Alex in the back of a van, took them away. Chris says, though, luckily it was the order, so they couldn't kill him. Depending on who got to him first, they could be dead right now. Heather then asks about Alex. Chris is like, me and Alex were being kept together. We were in some kind of cabin upstate. One day, they had to transfer Chris and Alex. Chris could hear over the phone that they were transferring them somewhere and that their current location was compromised. Chris guesses that it was the Sixth Enclave that knew about it, so they decided they needed to move them somewhere else. So Chris says that they were in a car convoy. Chris was in back, Alex was in front. Chris could tell that he was in the front seat, even though he was blindfolded and stuff. He could tell that he was in the front seat of this car. There's a driver next to him. Chris said that he knew that he had to do something, so he just fucking grabbed the wheel, yanked it. They went off the road, hit a tree or something, spun out. So Chris says that's when he uploaded the vid_2018 0419 video, the one where he sent out a message to Heather. Chris says that he was able to get a few bucks together, and he was able to get on that bus. He got to the stop, and then cops picked him up. Chris says that he genuinely thinks that the cops just thought he was some fucking homeless dude, and they brought him in. And the order has connection to the cops, so then, he was in their clutches yet again. And then, now, that's where we get to around the time of this video. They set up the plan to try and capture and kill Heather. Chris says, look, Heather, I was horrified that if I fucked up this plan even once, they were gonna fucking kill you. Chris also says that the only reason why he agreed to the order's plan was because he knew that there was a chance that they could get free of this, that they could eventually get Alex and make it like it was before, Fuck, dude. Fuck. Chris, you took a chance, and seemingly for now, it's worked. It has worked very hard. Good job, boy. Good job. Chris then talks about how the only thing that kept him going was he remembered that there is a plan that could work. He brings up, years ago, Daniel Shipman brought us to the cemetery called Brant Crater, and there was a map that would lead to something that could bring the order down from the inside. Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go. And we kind of get confirmation here that Kind von der Ritter is Heather McComber's grandfather, Marc McComber. Honestly, they're talking as if he is now at this point. So I'd say it's confirmed. I'd say this is hella confirmed. So, Kind von der Ritter led them to this map at Brant Crater that would lead them to something that could bring down the order. Chris explains this to Heather, right? He says, Kind von der Ritter believed it was there. Daniel Shipman believed it was there. That has to be something, right? And Heather says, well, if my grandfather thinks it's there, then it has to be there. Right? her grandfather. He didn't bring up Marc McComber, but he did bring up Kind von der Ritter. And she said her grandfather. So this, at this point, just kind of confirms it for me. Marc McComber is Kind von der Ritter. He has to be. He's the only person that we can... That at this point, there's enough evidence to lay down this theory into fact territory. Kind von der Ritter is Marc McComber. Now, Chris talks about the map a little bit more, and he says that the map is gone. It's destroyed. Except for Daniel Shipman's cell phone, which we have it in the bag that Charlie sent us, right? So they have Daniel Shipman's cell phone. They have the map to Brant Crater. They have the map of Brant Crater to this item. They can finally take care of this whole situation, get the order off of their backs, and live a life of normalcy, you know? But Chris and Heather do agree, though, that as much as they want to go and find this map right now, Alex takes priority. The Order still has Alex, and if the Sixth Enclave finds where Alex is, he's dead, right? So, finding Alex first takes priority. And then after, they go for the map. Which is, we've got a plan coming together here. Find Alex. After that, find the map. After that, find the item. Take the Order down. The plan sounds simple, but you know it's not going to be that motherfucking simple. Anytime they dig, shit goes wrong, right? Something, one thing in this plan going wrong can lead to the deaths of all these characters. So, yeah. Ugh. God damn, dude. God damn. And they end the video off by having a little discussion about should we even put this video up. And Chris says it's better to have, two minds more than one. I think they all deserve to hear this. If we're going to go all in, we should go all in. So they put this video up. Right? And that is the end of log entry number 32. Oh, Chris also thanks Heather for trusting him and just, some niceties. They have some niceties together. And now we are done with log entry number 32. And we move on to the next video. This is a big one, boys. If you remember, in update number 8, Heather showed us a brown book that she acquired, titled The Revelations of Marc McComber. Today, Chris is going to read this book to us in a considerably long video titled Revelations of the Sixth Enclave. There is scans to the pages in this book. The description reads, story time, link to the page scans. I will put the scans of this brown book in the description of this video. Oh, god damn. This is a big one, boys. This is a big one. This is going to be a long one. So let us move on to Revelations of the Sixth Enclave. Alright. So, I took like a long break. Like a really long break. When I was recording earlier, I was like, oh, my mom's going to get home soon with food. So, you know, I was like, ooh, food. And then, and my friends came over a little bit. They chilled for a little bit, but they had to leave. And then I was gonna record, but then I fell asleep and took a nap. So here I am. Now let us continue with Dark Harvest. Okay, so the video is titled Revelations of the Sixth Enclave. Chris will be reading from the brown book that they found from Daniel Shipman's belongings. The book is titled The Revelations of Marc McComber to the Sixth Enclave. Oh, let us continue. So, Chris is the one who's doing this video. This video starts out where the camera's set up in some kind of like abandoned location, some kind of attic. Kind of the house, it's like an abandoned house. The house looks abandoned at least, but yeah, they're in some sort of attic. And Chris says that him and Heather are staying in a location recommended to them by Charlie McDowell, some sort of safe house. Chris says that he wants to share something with us today, something that him and Heather have known about for quite a while, something that they got from Daniel Shipman's from the drop-off point in Massachusetts in 2015. The bag that had all of Daniel Shipman's possessions, his computer, his documents. Chris says one of those belongings is this brown book. They call it the brown book, not to be confused with the black book that Chris says they received all those years ago. He says, I think it's almost 8 years now when we received this black book. Now, they got the black book from the day camp left to them by Kine von der Ritter, who we know now is Marc McComber. And the brown book, it's something different. It's a different thing that Daniel Shipman was able to get his hands on. Chris says that the black book is a treasure trove of information, stuff that they couldn't glean out of Heather. But this brown book is incredibly enlightening. Chris says that now there is a faction in the Order called the Sixth Enclave that runs off of a completely different belief system than the rest of the Order. And a lot of us, the viewers, don't really know what that faction believes. Chris, Alex, and Heather were included in that camp for a very long time. Chris says, but now, you know, he pretty much hints at that they do completely understand what the Sixth Enclave is at this point because of the information from this brown book. Chris says that he is going to read this brown book in its entirety to everyone today. All of us. Chris says he feels it's important to read this to us because we all need to know what they are up against and what kind of situation they're in right now and what kind of danger Alex is in right now, currently being held by the Order. Chris says that he respects all the viewers out there for helping him through all these years. He feels this closeness to us, and that's why he feels the need to share this information with us. He said that he spoke with Heather about it. She was pretty reluctant, but eventually agreed to share the whole truth with everyone, and this will be the whole truth. Chris says now he will read this book, so everything we hear from this point forward is coming from the text. Now, I think everyone deserves to go and watch this video. It's, in my opinion, one of the best videos on the channel. It's fucking amazing. It's eye-opening about everything in the series. It is a great fucking video, and I think everyone should go check it out. I am not going to go over this video in its entirety at all. Frankly, for the most part, I'm going to skip over most of this video. But I will link this video along with the book itself in the description. Because I do believe everyone should go and watch this video for themselves. It is a fucking amazing video. It is really good. I really think everyone should go watch this video for themselves. It's eye-opening, man. It's fucking eye-opening. I am going to watch the entirety of this video, and then I will come back to you guys, highlight some key points if they come to my mind. If not, we will move on. After I kind of go over these key points, we will then move on to the next video. But I will link this video, Revelations of the Sixth Enclave, in the description, and I will also put the document to the brown book in the description of the video also. Ooh. This is a heavy hitter of a video. It's one of my favorites. So, some things to go over in that video is Marc McComber pretty much says that he was wrong about the future that he saw, and he was wrong about everything that set up the Order's whole belief system. He was wrong about it all. He first apologizes to his son Joseph, who we've seen the name J. McComber on a manifest before, so now we know that this is Marc McComber's son, Joseph. Heather's dad. He apologizes to him and how he treated him when he was young, and that he led him astray, and he hopes one day he could find this book and come to the same realizations that Marc McComber came to all those years ago. He then apologizes to Heather. And that he sees courage in her. And he knows that she will not be led astray like her father before her. He then explains that the Order's belief system was built off of 3 chosen entities. The priest, the priest, the lamb, the priest, the lamb, and the priest, the lamb, and the slave. But there was a 4th entity in it that he never realized was a 4th chosen, and that is the Order itself. He also just denounces that Goreleotep is a god and it's more of a monster that wants to see the world burn. Those are some of the important points. One thing that I need to mention is that Marc McComber kind of confirms what his powers really are. He can see the past and the future. And that's why he's the... he can see the past and the future, and that's why he's the Oracle. And that is kind of... that is kind of where we, in my opinion, get confirmation that Kein von der Ritter is definitely Marc McComber. Kein von der Ritter said in his very last video on the channel that he can see the future, he can hear the past. Marc McComber also says in this book that he never truly knows if he's alive or not, because he feels like he goes into the future at times and sees it physically, like he's there. Sometimes he goes back into the past and sees it like he's physically there, and sometimes he's in the present. So he never truly feels like he's there in mind and in body at all. Which just sounds like a fucking sad existence. But yeah, there's a pretty good amount to go over in that video. But I can't go over all of it. It's just a lot. As I said, Revelations of the Sixth Enclave video, link in the description, and then I will leave a link to the Brown book in the description also. That is where we move on to the next video, the East Coast Assembly. So, East Coast Assembly starts, and Chris and Heather both have order masks, and they're going to the Atlantic test site. So, this is at the Atlantic test site, is supposedly one of the biggest meetings of the year going down here at this moment. And seemingly what we could devise from their plan is they're going to attempt to kidnap a member of the Order and try and get information about where Alex is. Heather has a gun. Then we cut to the next scene. Chris and Heather are walking around. They're walking towards where the meeting is at the Atlantic test site, and while this is going on, some footage overlays the current video. We can still hear the audio of the current video in the background, but some footage overlays of the first time Chris, Alex, and Jesse went to the Atlantic test site. That's some nostalgia shit right there, dude. That's some nostalgia shit right there. They get to the spot where the meeting is being held. Along the way, they put their masks on, and no meeting there. No meeting at all. No one's there. And as we can see, it's the same exact spot in the woods where log entry number 32 took place. The one where they kill Matt. Right? It's that same spot where meetings get held seemingly pretty regularly. Maybe not anymore. Maybe not since the events of log entry number 32. Chris also notes that this doesn't even look like the same place anymore. Heather's like, it is. Look, you can see the fucking banners over there. And we see the Dark Harvest banners. We see the order symbols still there in their spot where the events of log entry number 32 took place. Where also the events of Greg's log number 2 took place. Yeah, they're in the same spot, but it looked like there's a bunch of trees cleared out, and just Chris and Heather are confused. They feel like maybe this is a trap, but also they kind of know that it isn't, because nobody knows that they're here. Heather also says that the only reason they'd be clearing this place out of the trees is because they'd be preparing for a ritual. Chris says, what ritual? Heather says, the harvest. Now, if we remember, the harvest is when the Order just starts killing people to sacrifice them to Goreleotep to get things into motion, I guess. God damn. So they start walking around this place more. Chris finds like a bunch of wood, so it seems like they are clearing out the trees. Chris sees that like the gate that was near at this Atlantic test site has now been destroyed. Kind of is like, something happened here, man. So they start to look around more. Looks like there's more trees ready to be cleared. But then they also get closer to the banners, and it looks like there's like bullet holes in them and blood marks on them. Kind of struggle happened here, potentially. Chris then starts to piece it together that there was some sort of gunfight here, and the Sixth Enclave seems to be getting stronger. They seem to have broken through the gate and then gone into a gunfight. So they go check out the test site building itself. And Chris says, what weirds me out is right here, right in this area, all those years ago, when me and Alex went here for the first time, camera freaked out and it shut off right around this area. Chris pretty much brings up that we haven't really experienced camera distortion in a very long time. Not as bad as it used to be. Maybe the Slendy guy's forgotten about him. Or not really forgotten about him, doesn't really care about him anymore. Or something like that, you know? Who knows? That video is really good because it keeps like intersplicing footage of the few different times that we saw things or things going on at the Atlantic test site. It's a very good video. And then we move on to the very last video of season 3. Log entry number 36. We're time jumping hard with this video. Alright, log entry number 36. The description reads, we returned to the Rainwood Day Camp after receiving a message from Charlie McDowell. Alrighty. So, video starts. Chris and Heather pulling up to a location. Heather's like, "Is this the place?" Chris is like, "I mean, yeah, has to be. There's the Benson's old house back there. Gregory Benson, his father, his brother Jeff. There's their old house right there. A location that we know. We know pretty well." But he says old house. Seemingly they aren't there anymore, you know? Times are a-changin', boys. Times are a-changin'. The way he says it has to be. Almost like day camp's just not there anymore. Like the building's been torn down or something like that, you know? We will see. Heather says there's nothing here. Chris says, I mean, yeah, must have torn it down. I don't know. She then asks, where's their old house? Then we see, camera pans over and we see Greg's house. It's there. It's a house that we know. Things have gone down in that place. We know this home. It's weird to see Greg's house with a more clear camera, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. It's nostalgic. I feel like the last 2 videos have been pretty nostalgic. They went to the Atlantic test site. We got some interspliced old footage of the Atlantic test site there. They're now at the day camp and near Greg's house. Like, this is some nostalgic ass shit, I'm not even gonna lie. So, Chris and Heather then pan the camera towards the day camp, or the area where the day camp was, and it is completely gone now. No building, no nothing there. Nothing at all. Chris then says, there used to be a huge building here, 3 stories, and we get some old footage of them at the day camp, during the day, right? So we could see it. I think it would be probably footage from, I think it would be footage from, like, log number 17 or something like that. I can't exactly remember. Heather also says that She's known about the day camp, but she can never, she can't remember ever coming here at a point in her life. So this is kind of like a new location to Heather in general already. And she doesn't even know what it looks like, what it used to look like. So we now know why Chris and Heather are even at the day camp. Charlie McDowell sent them a message saying that someone told him to tell them to go to the day camp and they would find something there. Whatever that something may be. Heather then asks, should we, like split up? Chris is like, no. We'll stay together, stick together, right? Smart, big smart. I'm starting to wonder who would tell Charlie to send them to the day camp. That just seems, I don't know. Seems a little interesting, seems a little weird. A little weird and wacky, who knows? But yeah. Charlie was pretty much the middleman here, sending them over to the day camp. So Chris and Heather walk around the day camp, just kind of looking around and stuff, trying to look for something. They don't know where it is, they don't know what it is, but there is something there at the day camp for them to see. Chris also says that Jesse told him that he used to go to this day camp, and Heather says, fitting, right? Yeah, pretty fitting. Jesse used to go to this day camp before it closed, and then we know what turned out with Jesse, you know? Fucking cultist little man, right? This video almost feels like a trip through memory lane, because Chris talks about how, there used to be a bunch of pool buildings here, and this was actually the place where we saw the symbol of the Order for the first time. And we keep getting little interspliced footage of old footage from that video of them going to the day camp for the first time, right? When Chris, Alex, and Jesse all found the black book. Chris and Heather walk around this day camp a little bit more, and then they stumble. They kind of talk about how, you think Charlie was messing with us? And Chris says, look, Charlie's not one to mess with us. He was one of Daniel Shipman's best friends. Daniel Shipman was always looking out for us. I don't think Charlie would be messing with us like this, right? And then they stumble upon a bag with some documents, a phone, some other kind of item in there that I don't exactly know at the moment, but I will get back to you guys on that. So I think they found what they were looking for. And they also, a little recorder's in there. On the recorder it says play file A1. They play the file, and it's a file from Jeff, Greg's brother Jeff. I guess Jeff has come in to help them out yet again. Jeff Ex Machina, baby. Fucking hell. Now, we can't really hear what Jeff is saying in the voice message, because the audio is all like windy and fucked. But what we can pick up is that he has some important documents for them to see, seemingly from Daniel Shipman, or something like that. And this is just important stuff for Chris and Heather to see. Chris and Heather get back in the car, and Chris says, for the first time I feel like there's hope. This is so nice, man. This is so nice. So, we, they talk in the car a little bit about how, Chris says that he kept telling himself that, ugh. Chris says that he kept telling himself, like, you know, it was all going to work out, but he wasn't sure how much of that was self-delusion and wasn't self-delusion. But now it's starting to feel like things are coming up good for him, right? And then also, there's also Heather says that, you know, she can't wait for all of this is over and they can get Alex back. Every wasted moment feels like torture. Which is, you know, that's true. They need to get Alex back, man. But after that, they start looking at those documents that they got. And we can see that they are members of the Order. And we see that one of the names... is Brian Holmes. Now, if you remember from log entry number 28, the one where Jesse dies, the police officer that was investigating into Jesse's death was Brian Holmes. So, you get a confirmation that that police officer was a member of the Order. And we also get to see a little picture at the bottom that shows that he was the one in log entry number 28 who was the overseer, who was commanding the charge for Jesse's death. Oh, sorry, I'm getting indigestion right now. So, they're driving along, right? They examine the phone a little bit. They turn it on. They realize they have, like, Jeff's number now and stuff, right? Jeff left him a phone with communication to him. So, Jeff is, you know, still around, which is good to know. But Chris notices that there's been a car following them for a while now. And Heather's like, we do have Jeff's phone, right? So Jeff could help them out if they do need help. Hopefully in some way, you know what I mean? Chris says, yeah, you know, Jeff has been able to pull off some miracles before. Log entry number 26 specifically is one of those miracles. So Chris says, yeah, let's give him a call. So they call Jeff, and Jeff is like, holy shit, I didn't think you guys would call this fast. Chris is like, yeah, holy shit, Jeff, it's been a while. Jeff is like, yeah, it has been a while. Looks like you guys got what I sent you. Chris is like, yeah, got everything. And then they start to tell him what's going on. Chris also asks, like, what's the deal with the phone? Jeff says it's completely untraceable, so, you know, if you guys need to contact me or anything, you guys can. Which is, dude, shout out Jeff. Jeff is a goddamn miracle worker. Jeff coming in clutch yet again. Chris says that once they pulled out of the day camp, got onto the turnpike, this car has been with them for at least an hour now. So yeah, they're being followed, I'd say. So Jeff has them look at this GPS app on the phone, has them send him their location, and now Jeff is able to track them, able to track where they're going via the phone. Dude, Jeff is a goddamn master over here. He's my goat right now. Jeff says that he's also able to see the other car behind them. Dude. Ooh. They got a man on the inside now. Jeff says that he's able to track the cars around them too. And he said that so far as they know, there's only one car following them. But Jeff says Oh, fuck. Another car just switched lanes also. You guys... Another car just switched lanes really fast. You guys may be being tracked by 2 cars. Chris says, what's kind of fucked right now is... we got traffic all around... all around us. So it's kind of hard to get away from these other cars. So Jeff straight up just tells them, alright, traffic, ditch the fucking car. Pull off, get into the city, ditch the fucking car, right? I'll call you guys a lift. So they're gonna straight up ditch the car. Straight up ditch the car, leave it behind, get them a lift, right? Oh, we got a little plan coming together here, boys. And they start to go on towards the city. And Jeff confirms both cars are following you now. So, yeah. At this point, ditching the car seems like the best option. So, Chris and Heather find a place to drop off the car. They start walking towards this building that Jeff told them to go to. This big, like, laboratory building. Jeff says that he can't find the second car, but he sees the first car has now stopped, and they're heading off on foot at them. So, Chris and Heather are trying to cut through this, like, university laboratory looking place. Chris asks how far back are they? And Jeff says they just found the car. So they're not too far away from him at this point. So they start picking up the pace a little bit, going towards this area that Jeff's having them go at. Like this, they're going deeper into this university area. So they cut around this like little plaza area of this university looking place. They cross the street. And they just like keep going. They just like keep going straight. That's what Jeff tells them. Jeff says also that these guys have seemingly split up now at this point. Looking around, all around. Looking all around this area for him. God damn, dude. I'm getting a little sneezy over here. So they walk a bit more, turn left, right? Because Jeff says that they're slowing down a bit. They may have seen you. They make a left, then they make a right towards another building. So they're still in this university area, downtown. We don't know what city they're in New Jersey, but they're in a downtown area of New Jersey. They are, they're going towards some kind of other university building. It seems like they're in some sort of university district type area. So Chris and Heather walk forward. They see some dudes near the building that Jeff told them to go towards. They try to go back. They see some dudes there also. They're kind of cornered at the moment. But the only option that they have is going down some stairs, like this little stairwell. Jeff's like, what's going on? Chris is like, Jeff, shut up. Jeff's like, what's going on? Chris is like, Jeff, we're being followed. Shut up. Right? So Jeff shuts up. Jeff shuts up. So, Chris and Heather, they're hiding down in this little stairwell area. And we see a member of the Order come down, but they're wearing different masks. They're wearing a different kind of mask. That same mask that we saw that Order member wearing back in the Massachusetts footage. The white up here, black down here. So I'm starting to think, I have a little theory right here. I'm guessing that is the Sixth Enclave mask. And not, the regular Order masks are like white and stuff, right? The Sixth Enclave masks are a different color, seemingly. So I'm guessing that's the Sixth Enclave mask right there. But he comes down the stairwell, he finds Chris and Alex. I mean, he finds Chris and Heather, sorry. And he tries to stab Heather. Heather fights him to the ground, grabs his fucking weapon or whatever she stabs him. She stabs him multiple times, and then they get out of that stairwell. Okay. So they get out of that stairwell, they start running more, they find a building that they can kind of not hide out in, but hide out outside of, with some like stone pillars and stuff that they could like chill behind for a little bit. A group of people in hoodies and masks come up, they talk amongst themselves, then they run in a different location, in a different direction from where they are. They are seemingly, the coast is clear. Seemingly. So they run across the courtyard and they hide in this little like, they hide in some bushes, right? Then we see about 5 Order members run by. So, you know, they're pursuing them, but they can't exactly find them. So, they get to a street corner. The lift pulls up, and they get the fuck out of there. They get the fuck out of there. They have successfully escaped the Order this time and have acquired Jeff's package. That sounded sus, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And that was the last upload of 2020. For 4 years, we had not gotten an upload on the Dark Harvest channel. If I would have made this series about a month or two ago, I would not be talking about this video right now. But June 18th, 2024, we got an upload on the Dark Harvest channel titled Log Entry Number 37, Finding Alex. The description reads, the beginning of the end. Part 1 of 4. This footage spans 1 month. From March 21st, 2021 to April 22nd, 2021. So this footage all takes place in 2021. Also, by the way, March 21st is my birthday. So this footage starts on my birthday and ends about a month after my birthday. About a month and a day after my birthday. So, yeah. This video starts with some text on the screen. It's been a long time since our last update. In fact, it's been the longest gap of time since Chris started this video log. So this footage takes place about 3 years ago at this point. It's been a long time since our last update. In fact, it's been the longest gap of time since Chris started this video log. Why? It seems like Heather's the one who's editing and putting this video together and uploading it. Maybe we will learn why it's Heather doing that now. Maybe sometime in this video or sometime soon. By the way, this is the start of Dark Harvest Season 4 and also the latest video on the channel. It came out about a month ago at this point. The next bit of text on the screen says, we didn't want to revisit this footage, but we feel that we owe it to you in some way. We. So, seemingly, both of them are still alive because of words like our and we. We didn't want to revisit this footage, but we feel that we owe it to you in some way. Something bad is going to happen in this little one of 4. I feel this in my heart. And the last bit of text on the screen says, we feel like we owe it to you for closure. for closure. Oh god, dude, what's going to fucking happen, bro? It's upsetting to watch back and put this together, but now that it's all over, we are going to share the whole story with you, starting with this first video. It's upsetting. Something bad's gonna happen, man. This is like in Tribe 12 when it took Noah years to get through all of the boardwalk footage because of the PTSD that it gave him. Or hell, even in Dark Harvest when it took a bit for Chris to upload the events of log entry number 30 and 31 because of his parents dying and like all the bad shit that happened there. This is footage that is hard for them to watch. It's hard for them to put up on the channel. And then we get a little note on the screen that says March 26, 2021. So Chris starts the video. He says it's been a while since he's had a reason to turn this camera on, but he thought he should give a little update. There was a safe house that Charlie had set up for Chris and Heather. And Chris says that safe house got compromised. He says that they've had to go move out into the woods. They've had to live in the woods. And we can see that they have like a tent and little lawn chairs and stuff like that. They have a little camp spot area that they're living at the moment. Chris says, though, we can't do this forever. Luckily, though, the spot that they found is right outside of a state camp, or a state park, and also the weather is nice at the moment. It's getting warmer and stuff, so it's not as bad to live outside. Chris says that they're not too far from a park, though, so they're able to use that for, like, showers and bathrooms and water, just water in general, you know what I mean? Chris says that they could at least stay out there for a while, because they haven't been compromised yet, but Chris says that there's some good news. Jeff contacted them, told them to check their P.O. box. He seemingly has sent them something. Chris says that Heather left not too long ago to pick up the package, and that he hopes it's some good news because at this point they need some good news. It's been a long time since they've had any kind of good news or anything like that. So yeah. So the package has a note from Jeff in it. The note says that I've been doing my research. I keep my promises. I hope that this information in this package comes as a pleasant surprise to you guys. And also, I'm sorry about that the information you got from the day camp wasn't as helpful as it seemed to be at the time. You guys risk your lives every day for this kind of shit, so I hope I can return the favor. It's pretty much what Jeff's note says. So he sent them some kind of information. Let's hope it's valuable. The note continues. This is every member of the Order and Sixth Enclave researched and verified. Call me when you have any idea of what you can do with this. Or, call me when you receive this. I have an idea of what you can do with this. Oh, Jeff. You motherfucking madman. You motherfucking miracle worker, you. You motherfucking miracle worker, you. Heather pulls the rest of what's in the package out, and it is that. It's looks like hundreds of pages of Order members. Verified, researched Order members. Either in the Sixth Enclave or in the Order itself. Pictures attached. Dude. So Chris goes off to call... God damn, dude. Chris goes off to call Jeff. Camera cuts, and Chris comes back. He says, well, he has a plan. Camera cuts again, cameras set up now that we are looking at Chris and Heather sitting at this park bench, or a little park table. You know what I'm talking about. It's the table with the wood seats that have no back to them, and then the table in the middle of them, and it's all one big contraption. You know what I'm speaking of. So Chris starts to explain the plan. So there's about 140 documents in that package that Jeff just sent them. That also combined with the 50 or so that they got from the day camp in log entry number 36. They have like close to 200 profiles of people in the Order or in the Sixth Enclave. So, Jeff says that this is every member of the Order in the Sixth Enclave. Jeff makes a good point about finding Alex, is they need to go in there with leverage, right? They need to have something, something to negotiate with them about, right? On where Alex is, right? Where to find Alex. And they said, and Chris says, seemingly, we were being too cocky when we tried to go to the East Coast Assembly. You know, we got lucky that day because we went in there and there was no one there. We were trying to go in there to target the Overseer, and that wouldn't have worked, right? We probably wouldn't have found out where Alex was, and we most likely would have either gotten killed or would have just had to kill somebody with no answers. So Jeff made this good point. Leverage, right? Kristen says that Jeff's thinking is, we target Jacob Rainwood. The man at top. The man on top. Jacob Rainwood. So, Chris starts to bring up, 2013, with Daniel Shindman, he was researching all of these documents. And he could not find anything about Jacob Rainwood, right? Chris then says, I'm guessing you've skimmed through these documents at least a little bit. You probably have not seen Jacob Rainwood at all. Heather says, yeah, he's seemingly not in there. Chris then says, Heather says, yeah, there's so much information here, but there's seemingly nothing on this guy. Chris then says, that's not an accident. Jeff said that he was not able to find anything about Jacob Rainwood. There's no public records of Jacob Rainwood at all. But yeah, there's seemingly no Jacob Rainwood in any public record, which doesn't make sense because they owned the school, the day camp. They probably own other businesses around the area. They seem like a pretty affluent family in the area. Right? They seem like they almost kind of own the area in a way. But Chris says that Jeff theorized the same thing that Daniel theorized years ago, is that Jacob Rainwood is just an alias, a fake name. Now guys, I got a good one for you. Jacob Rainwood? More like Jacob Brainwood. Because Jacob's getting brain on his wood, bro. Ooh, bro fist. I mean, it's not the end of the video yet, but bro fist. Bah! Alright, let's continue. I'm Jacob Brainwood. Yeah. So Chris says that it seems that someone else in the Order is leading a double life as Jacob Rainwood. Right? And then he asks Heather, have you ever met Jacob Rainwood yourself? And Heather's like, no, I haven't. Heather used to be in the Order. Heather used to be in this cult. Heather was one of the people kind of at the top of the cult because of the McComber last name, right? Because of the name McComber. It seems like she would have met Jacob Rainwood at one point, but seemingly never has. Or maybe she has, but at the time he wasn't going by the name Jacob Rainwood, right? So, yeah. There is something afoot here, guys. There is something afoot here. So now we get on to their part of this little situation with all these documents. Jeff is asking them to go through all these documents that he sent them and attempt to figure out who Jacob Rainwood is. That's a tall order. That's a tall task. But if the theory is true that Jacob Rainwood is an alias, and Jeff has every member of the Order there, in those of the Order and the Sixth Enclave there, it could be a tall task, but it's not impossible. Chris and Heather discuss it, and it's like, it's the best plan that they have at the moment. It's all they really can do at the moment, at least until winter, right? What else are they going to do? Sit and wait in the woods? Heather says she's sick of waiting on her hands, right? Sick of sitting on her hands, right? It's time to get out there, start putting in that work. At the moment, that work is going through those documents. Chris and Heather do both agree, though, that this is the way. This is what we need to do, right? They also talk about how they miss Alex, and Chris says, you know, I was in there. I can't even imagine the kind of hell that Alex is living with the Order. We gotta, and every day that he's not with us, he's with them. So, you know, they gotta start going through these documents, start finding this shit for Alex, man. For Alex. So, the plan that we cut to the next scene, and they have started day one of trying to figure out who the fuck Jacob Rainwood is. Chris discusses that the plan is we should first organize all of these pages, and then after that, we just start going through them. And if Jacob Rainwood is an alias or like a fucking ghost name, then there may be some kind of things messed up, things that are wrong with it, right? So they're trying to find some sort of slip up with the data. So we cut to the next scene. Chris and Heather are sitting in front of a fire, and they're discussing how well, Heather says, if I look at these fucking pages one more time, I'm gonna go insane, right? Chris is like, yeah, I feel that. You know, it's not getting any easier. Heather's like, maybe we're looking too deep into this. Maybe it's something more simple. So then she asks, what does Jacob Rainwood look like? Chris is like, we don't fucking know. The only person that we knew that knew him when in person was our friend Matt. But obviously, Matt's not here with us anymore. Heather's like, did he ever mention what he looked like? Chris is like, I'm trying to remember if he ever mentioned anything of what he looked like. Chris then mentions, you know, we lived with Matt. I'm trying to remember if there's anything that Matt ever mentioned when we were living with him, because, you know, we talked with Matt all the time while we were living with him. Heather says, I'm not sure if I'm just imagining this, didn't he say that Jacob Rainwood was the same age as his father? Chris is like, fuck, that does ring a bell. So they find the document of Matt's dad, because Matt's family was in the Order. So they find Joseph Sharkey, who is Matt's father. 1959. Same age as Jacob Rainwood. So now what they're trying to determine is records that are from 1959 or around that age range, right? A plan is coming together, boys. A plan is coming together. We then cut to the next part, and Chris says we have narrowed down the candidates to these 4 results. Now, we have a few names here. Salman Mandel, A few other names, but one of them is sticking out to me here. Henry Amsel. Henry Amsel. H. Amsel. Now we know that the Amsel name is on the East Coast Assembly Manifest from a while ago, right? From Noah Maxwell's video on the Tribe 12 channel, from that same manifest that we went through around when we were starting season 3, right? So yeah. Henry Amsel. The Amsel name has always been pretty important in this series. Detective Amsel. They have there was 3 names of the Amsels on the documents. So this seems pretty fucking important. Chris is starting to go on the same track of thinking that I was, because the next line that he mentions was, wait, this makes so much sense to me. He hones in on Henry Amsel. Both families trace their membership back to the 1930s, to the Novus Ordo Europa, right? The original cult before the order. The New Order of Europe, right? The Novus Ordo Europa. It disbanded in the 1930s, and then years later, the order started. Both families trace back to that original order. So it seems likely that the Amsels and the Rainwoods were both trying to gain control of the order, and maybe the Amsels won, not the Rainwoods. And if that is the case, that would mean that the Amsels won, but the Amsels took the name of the Rainwoods. Fuck, dude. Fuck. Something's coming together here. I think we may have just found the identity of Jacob Rainwood. It potentially could be Henry Amsel. Seemingly... Oh, we also get confirmation that Henry Amsel is Detective Amsel. Maybe he only... Chris also mentions that maybe he only reveals himself to other members of the Order that he's Jacob Rainwood also, right? He's living some sort of double life. Chris then asks Heather, I mean, you didn't know, right? Heather's like, no. Chris then says that seemingly to everyone else, he's just Henry Amsel, and he has this tight circle of people that he reveals to them that he is Jacob Rainwood. So there's some shit going on here, man. So seemingly what they're getting onto now is this theory that they have that Henry Amsel seemingly murdered Lawrence Rainwood and assumed the identity of his son. Henry Amsel was probably one of those many conspirators that Lawrence Rainwood's whole paper trail was trying to lead to, right? The whole thing with the fucking coded paper, which then led to the books, which then led to the Brant Crater Cemetery. Brant Crater Cemetery then led to that map, and that map was going to lead to the thing that could take down the Order, right? Seemingly, most likely, Henry Amsel would have been involved in that whole thing of outing those conspirators within the Order itself. Chris says this is the only thing that's seeming to make sense at the moment, because all the other pieces of paper just are pieces of paper that have info on them. It's not like this is the only thing that seemingly has some kind of validity to it. And Henry Amsel also has associations with the police, so he could definitely cover up a murder like the murder of Lawrence Rainwood. Heather says, I mean, it sounds insane, but it's also the only thing that has made sense this entire time. Chris then says if this is what actually happened, this is that thing that Daniel Shipman was trying to find that would bring down the order. And I guess that Lawrence Rainwood thought that the cult itself would fall to shambles if everyone else realized that he was betrayed by the Amsel family. But Chris also says that Lawrence Rainwood must have been more egotistical and self-important than they thought, because if Henry Amsel is acting under the alias of Jacob Rainwood, that means the other members of the Order already know this information. And it seemingly hasn't brought the cult down. And Henry Amsel is just using this information to stay hidden from the rest of society. Stay hidden in plain sight. Chris says that this is the only thing that seemingly makes sense. So maybe they should try and contact Jeff and have him do a deeper dive into Henry Amsel himself, because this is the best lead that they've had so far. So we then cut to the next scene. Heather shows up at the tent with another package. This package has a location to a place in upstate New York. Chris then says this has got to be the place they're holding Alex. On the picture of this location that we could see, it's some kind of little shitter warehouse-looking building out in the middle of the woods. Kind of a nothing place. Kind of a nothing little building. Then the other piece of paper that they have secured is the location of Henry Amsel's home. Oh, fuck. Dude. Fuck. Oh, God. Heather starts getting a little bit antsy. She's like, alright, let's pack up the tent. Let's go. I say we can get there by nightfall. Chris is like, no, it's not going to be that easy. Heather's like, come on, we got his address. Let's go get the fucker. Chris is like, no, listen. This is like, we need to plan this further out than just we leave and we go get him, we go get Alex, right? We gotta plan this out, because this is, if we jump headfirst into this, something's not gonna go right. Chris essentially says that we need to ensure that we can't just go in there guns blazing, because if we do that, most likely one of us is not going to come out of there alive, right? As much as I want to go get this fucker and go get Alex also, we need a plan. We can't just go in there guns blazing. And I understand Alex. I understand Chris. I understand what he's saying. They can't do this shit willy-nilly. They will die. Chris says that this is the kind of plan where you only have one shot at it, right? And either they're leaving with Alex or we're not. And we only have one shot at this. Now we know we're either leaving with Alex. Chris isn't saying it, but we're either leaving with Alex or we're getting captured and you're gonna die, Heather. Or the Sixth Enclave's gonna get to us and we're all gonna die. Right? We only have one shot at this. Heather then asks, is there anything we could ask Jeff for? Any kind of help? Jeff, the problem with that though is Jeff's on the other side of the country. So seemingly at this point, Jeff cannot help them. Chris then says, I don't want to think that we're on our own, but that might just be the case. The only other person that they could ask for help is Charlie McDowell. But they also say that Charlie McDowell's got a family now, and he understands how dangerous this could be, going kind of snooping around the house, asking questions and stuff, right? And this also could eventually lead back to Chris and Heather, because the Amsels have connections with the police and everything. So we then cut to Chris in the car, and he's calling Charlie McDowell. Charlie's like, hey, it's been a while. You guys went dark for a while. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to hear from you. Chris says, hey, thanks, man. Thanks for all the help that you've done. You've been a lifesaver. Charlie's like, hey, it's what Dan would have done, right? Talking about Daniel Shipman. Chris is then like, all right, I don't want to waste your time, so let's get down to business. So Chris tells Charlie that they think that Jacob Rainwood is Detective Amsel. Charlie's like, oh, fuck, wait. Oh, my God. Oh, that actually makes sense. Daniel never thought to look into him or anything. God damn. Okay, right? Chris then tells Charlie the plan, pretty much. We want you to go to that house, to the Amsel residence, and just kind of do some private investigator work. Like you used to do with Daniel. Charlie's like, oh, fuck, you guys want me to go to the house of the leader of the order? Chris says, all we need to know is what the security might look like at that place. Charlie is then like, so I'm just scouting, right? I'm not going fucking Rambo on this. I'm just scouting. Chris is like, yeah. You just be scouting out the place, trying to figure out the security. Because Chris's theory is that when he was with the Order, they ran a pretty tight ship. And ever since, they're not just contending with trying to find Chris and Alex, they're also contending with the Sixth Enclave now. It might be a fucking fortress at the Amsel residence, right? So they just need Charlie to scout out this location. Chris just says, like, we just need you to, like, take some pictures, get a setup of the house and all that kind of stuff. We don't need... We want to do most of the legwork here. We just need to know that we're not walking into a fucking trap if we go to that house. Charlie's like, look, I'm going to need a bigger pay cut if I got to do this. And Chris is like, I understand. I get it. We'll pay you more. Chris is like, look, I understand this is also dangerous work, so I wouldn't be asking you if you weren't our only option at this point. Charlie does agree to do it. Chris is very thankful and grateful for him. But Charlie has agreed to go scout out the place for Chris and Heather. Charlie says even like hell even get his family out of the country for a little bit, right? There's some shit going on here, right? This is a fucking important job. Get his family out of the way, right? That's fair. These Order fucks are resilient. They're fucked up in the head, bro. Charlie McDowell is not a harbinger. He is susceptible to die from the Order. So it is pretty smart to, like, get his family out of the country. Charlie says that he's going to get on to working out this as soon as this call's over. Then we cut to the next scene. So, in this next scene, Chris and Heather, we cut back to them. They're out in their little, like, wood location. And Chris is asking if there's more firewood. Heather's asleep in the tent. So, Chris is kind of, all alone for the time being in the woods. And a little visual and audio distortion happens. We haven't seen that in a while. So, after hearing a little fucking noise at his campfire, Chris decides, oh yeah, I'm not gonna wake up Heather. I'm gonna go travel into the fucking woods all by myself. I'm smart. So he does that. So he goes and travels into the woods all by himself. And we hear that same kind of Slendy distortion that went on in log entry number 33 when Alex was driving and he had that fucking headache, and then he fell out of the car and tried to fucking shoot himself in the face. Because his headache hurt so bad, he tried to fucking shoot himself. And then he went catatonic, right? We see that kind of distortion that happens. So, I don't really know what the difference really is in the Slendy distortion that we've seen throughout the series. But some Slendy distortion maybe seems to be an indication of weirder shit going on than just the big tall man is nearby and he's fucking with my camera. So Chris goes deeper into the woods, still alone, retard, and the distortion noise, like the audio distortion itself, starts to get like worse and worse until he pans the camera over and we see what looks to be like Alex, who is now at the moment, as of at least a few videos ago on the channel, has been captured by the Order itself. We haven't seen Alex in about 5 to 7 years at this point. But he's now there in the woods. One of the last times we saw Alex, he was being affected the most by the big, tall, slendy guy. So this is like, I don't know what the fuck this means, but this seems like an indication of something. Because Alex is not supposed to be here in the woods right now. And now that there's like a seemingly a Slendy Man moment happening, he's fucking here now, so I don't know what the fuck any of this means, but I can definitely definitively say there's some weird shit going on. Oh, Chris freaked the fuck out now after seeing someone in the woods. Pans the camera a little bit more, he starts to wander around a little bit more, pans the camera again, and we see Alex again, closer. He's kind of standing this way, kind of like staring off this way, like, let us continue, because I don't know what the fuck, I don't know how to explain that. So Chris gets back to the tent, rushes back to the tent, wakes Heather up, is like, oh, there's something out in the woods, there's something out in the woods. Heather's like, Chris, fuck you talking about, man? Alright, you're spooking me. What's going on? She sounds pissed off. But I noticed something a little bit in the background. Right when Heather takes the camera and points at Chris, we can kind of see the outline, maybe, of someone outside of their tent. Kind of looks like Alex. Kind of looks like the Alex that we just saw out in the woods. I will continue on with this scene a little bit more, and then I will go back, try to get timestamps for you on when I saw him outside of the tent. Let us continue. So, Chris tells Heather what he saw in the woods. He says he thinks he saw Alex. Heather's like, bro, fuck you. Fuck you. I mean, Heather's like, look, man, maybe your mind's playing tricks on you and stuff too, right? Like, I dream about him sometimes. Chris is like, no, I know what the fuck I saw. Seeming as if Chris's mind was playing tricks on us, we wouldn't have seen it on camera too, right? I think we all saw Alex out in the woods. Maybe I'm also going schizophrenic like Chris. Who knows? And the video, fucking Chris. The video ends around this point. Chris is like, I haven't felt this way since the last time I saw him. Heather's like, what are you implying? Chris is like, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Big, tall, slendy guy, right? Big Goraleotep or whatever the fuck the cult calls him, right? And then Chris is like, alright, you want to fucking see it? Let's watch the footage. So, video ends here. But I will go back. Because people in the comments, a damn good while ago, when this video came out about a month ago, people in the comments were talking about how, towards the end, they saw Alex outside of the tent. Right? And I was like, these people are fucking out of their gourds, bro. These people are out of pocket. Till I looked at the footage, till I looked at the timestamps that they left. And I saw it too. Alex is outside of the tent. So I will go back and get those timestamps for you. Around the 33 minute, 50-second mark. Look on the outside of the tent. He's there. He's there. He's kind of there, skulking over the tent, kind of skulking over where Chris is sitting. He's there. But that being said, we are caught up on DarkHarvest00. This is, for now, seemingly the end of my Ramblin' series. I will continue this series when a new video comes out. I'm either going to let a few videos come out and then I will kind of make one big video going over all of them, or I will just kind of individually make a video when the next Dark Harvest comes out. I haven't decided that yet, so I don't know, whatever happens, happens. Next time Dark Harvest drops, potentially expect an upload from me. Potentially don't. That being said, also go fucking subscribe to the channel yourself. Link in the description. Go fucking watch Dark Harvest. It's good. It's good. Go fucking watch it. I have other links in the description. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you for watching. I love you. I love you. I love you. I hug you. I tug you. Smooches. Let's end this, guys. Let's fucking end this. Bro fist. Maha.